Hello, class. Now, street trees are not the only kind of trees you might have, so I'm going to show you how to place other trees about sort of more organically. One of the things that architects, I think, often do is they place trees too evenly spaced apart. The reality is sometimes trees are very closely spaced and sometimes there's areas without any trees at all. Sometimes trees are different sizes, sometimes trees are different colors, and so we're going to look to see how we do all that. So I'm going to come here and I made a new layer. I'll call it trees other. You could put it on the same layer as the other trees, but I always default to more trees, the better. So one thing that's interesting about the brush I made is one way of using it is you can just click once with your pen tool and you just have one little dot, which really shows nothing if it's just a line. But if I go back to this brush I made a couple videos ago and I click it, we can see it turns into a tree. And then I can set the size again just by adjusting the stroke. Right? And so I could just place individual trees, which a lot of times I do. I just do one little point. I might copy it around. Oftentimes I find if you want to get sort of a random set of sizes, you need 3 different sizes. So maybe that's my biggest, that's my smallest, and maybe I'll need something in between. So do something like, whoops. 33.9, I meant to do 0.33 in this case. Again, the size is all going to be based on your drawing. And so 3 different sizes, I sprinkle these around, it'll look random enough. Similarly, I could do different colors. So I might take this guy and I might make him sort of blooming and a spring bloom is happening or something like that, so a pinkish or a purple color. And I can take these and I can just use Alt on my keyboard if I want to copy it. And I can copy these things where I need to go. And again, sometimes I might bunch these up, sometimes I might spread them out, and place them randomly about. I don't just have to do individual trees though with what I've done. I could come along and grab a paintbrush and actually I shouldn't do the pink color because usually there's probably not going to be a lot of ornamental trees, but I might come over to a different area and I might come over and take my paintbrush and I might just squiggle a line about, and we can see that in this case it was a larger size. I just put some there and I might grab the smaller guy here just to grab some of its properties and paint a little bit around and clump them together. Maybe I'll grab this and just ever so slightly change the color of it, and of course the big tree should be on top, so I'm gonna select on it and I'm gonna right click. I'm gonna say arrange and bring to front because they're taller, right? So I can also add multiple trees like that. I'll often not do that a lot because as we can see this sort of S shape, it looks almost too much like it was controlled by hand. So I will do a lot of work by placing individual trees. I'll show in another video how to do like a forest of trees because I'll use a different technique for that. But that's how I'll go about and do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the video because it'll take some time and you want to be thoughtful about the placement of your trees, the color of your trees, and the size of your trees. So it'll take some time, but I'll just use the exact tricks of just using single point trees, changing the stroke and changing the color, and populate a good portion of the drawing with this. So just give me a moment. Alright, so I'm back and I've put trees at various spots. Again, you can see different sizes, different colors, some ornamental ones to be nice and bright, and that brush tool makes that so easy to have that variation to do and have something that begins to look nice. And I love the fact that I have control and I can make it look however I want. So add trees. You can also, again, just to see how they're sometimes close and sometimes open. That's how you get trees to look right. Again, just like in street trees, ultimately shadows are going to make these pop even more, and I'll get to shadows in a video very shortly. But first, I think what I'll do is I'll look at trees as sort of more of a forest, a very compact way. Like if there's a lot of trees or if you're trying to create a forest, which you sometimes need to do, I'll use an entirely different trick to show you how to do that.